Audio test. 1, 2, 3. Echo. Echo. Storage unit. Finally acquired. Guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. Okay, editing Simon here. Quickly, I don't look like a tramp anymore. Just to clarify, we've had a haircut. Just wanted to put that in there. Okay, right, back into the video. Simon here. Big day, momentous occasion. Not really. Kind of though. It's going to be a massive help for everyone at home. I kind of underestimated 2 kids versus 1 child in terms of the amount of time allocated on a day-to-day basis. It's been great, it's been amazing, but obviously trying to get as much content up as I wanted to hasn't really happened. I only can apologize for that, but at the same time I've been working my nuts off, especially for tax end. Obviously self-employed now, I need to make sure that I'm getting as much money in as possible, especially as we want to move house and potentially won't need a storage unit in the future, but at the moment I definitely do. There's just so many golf clubs, and I'm very lucky, fortunate that I've got a wife that has been so understanding to this point. But now for the amount of clubs that I have acquired just through videos, through just accumulating them on deals, whatever it might be, it's the time now that I just need to get some space. I need to get some space that I can sort through all of this stuff properly, make sure that I know what I've actually got, because I'm pretty sure there's clubs that I don't even know that I've got. And then at the same time, it's going to give me more space that I can actually accumulate more, to the point that I can then open up my club fitting center, my second-hand club fitting center, which hopefully is going to be at the end of this year, but I need more space to do that. This is the first trip of golf clubs. Let's go and put them in the storage unit. I've got so much space in there. It's only like 80 square foot, I think. It's going to cost me £170 a month, but at the same time, it's a business expense that needs to be spent. Let's get them up there. Let's have a look what I've got. It's depressing how little space that is currently taking up. Obviously that's half the stuff that I've actually got to bring over, but that was about 1.5 cupboards in the flat, and potentially a few more sprawled across alongside the bed as well. But it does mean that I've got room to maneuver. Like, I used to have to take like bags out to get to a certain club, whatever. There's going to be space for a loft and line machine in here, because at the moment obviously I measure all the lengths of clubs, but loft and line machine just so that I can make sure the lie angles are what the person that sold me said, or sometimes they don't even know, so I kind of have to measure it against standard or like club fitting clubs. But this is obviously going to be a lot more accurate, and as I move and progress, then obviously I want to make sure that everything is above board, as well as actually I can also bend clubs as well for people that want to buy them, which again is just an added bonus. Right, let's go and pick up the other stuff, let's get it back in here, and then I'll probably start rearranging this. So there was supposed to be some kind of Casey Neistat-esque time-lapse of me bringing in all the clubs, but I've decided just to film the roof through that entire process, so let me just show you what I've got. And here we are. That is currently what's been living in the flat for the last 8 to 9 months, something like that. I've actually sold a lot of stuff over the last couple of weeks as well, so there's probably a good third of this not even here. As I say, turnover has to be relatively high in the past, because obviously I wanted to make sure that everything was coming out the door. That being said, there's no way I know exactly what's here. They're my clubs, by the way. Obviously won't be selling those, but for the meantime this storage unit is relatively close to home, so it's quite easy for me to come and grab those. And again, space wise at home is obviously a bonus. There's some interesting stuff that I've completely forgotten. This is almost like a time capsule of videos over the last year or so. And well, let me just start off with this. Who remembers these bad boys? This is what started it all back in the day. It's about a year or so ago, first lockdown. I was trying to think of video ideas, and I saw these on eBay. There was 50 of them, heads only. Some 3 irons, 4 irons, 6 irons, all right-handed, £100 for 50 of them. And essentially, well, quite a lot of you have bought them off me because we were just doing like a club build. Obviously it was first lockdown, there wasn't really much we could actually do. Golf courses were shut, and I sold quite a few of them. And essentially this here, okay, I probably invested a bit more of my own money as well, but not that much, has turned into all of this, which is crazy to think. That's probably about a year's worth pretty much of work has now turned into all of that, which is crazy. And when I bought these way back then, there's no way I could have ever imagined that's how this would actually turn out. So finding these is actually quite special. Not too sure what I'm going to do about these, to be honest, whether I'm just going to sell them as a job lot or maybe just give them away. But yeah, I'm quite excited to obviously find those again. And if I hadn't got this storage unit, they would have probably stayed in the back cupboard for quite a long time. A lot of you ask me where I get my boxes. I basically get more sports cardboard boxes off the internet, off eBay. It's about £50 for 50 boxes. I'm going to start packaging all my boxes in here. I think this is going to be like bench workshop area over here. So essentially if I sell something from over here, it's going to get reboxed inside here, and then I'll put them in the car and then take them to obviously get posted and delivered. But again, they took up a massive amount of space, so that's only 20 boxes. So I have had 50 to 100 boxes in the flat at any given time, just so that well, the worst thing is not having a box, you know what I mean, to actually send the parcel. So for anyone that wanted to know where I get my boxes, that's essentially what I do. Moving on, we have a box that cost me a lot of money as well. This was going to be a video idea. As you know, I've been doing refurbs and everything else. Pretty much lackluster, very much amateur. A lot of you definitely make sure that I know in the comment section that it's very much amateur. But this was going to be the idea. However, I bit off a bit too much and I could chew, and I didn't realise the actual, well, basically what you need to be able to make this all work. What I have in here is a load of Cerakote paint, which essentially has been used predominantly for like respraying guns in America. So like if you wanted a camo finish or matte black finish or whatever, that's basically what they were for. But as you've probably seen on eBay, people have started to use them on golf clubs. And my idea is, you know what, let's get it. Let's start taking all these golf clubs back down to the bare minimum, clean them up, respray them, and then see what the result is. I think I spent about £150, maybe more, 180 on all of this, and it hasn't seen the light of day because you're essentially like a professional car sprayer. You need to make sure that you got vents, you got to make sure you got masks, you need to make sure you got a very clean, sterile environment, you need to make sure you got ovens, you need to make sure. I was stupid, I was an idiot. But it's exciting because potentially in the future, once I've got my workshop and everything else, there's no reason why this can't be a side of that. Repaint old clubs, make them look good, potentially get someone to help me with that. As I say, I don't think there's a lot of learning, there's a lot of skill. This is like a lifelong worth of work to make sure that you know how all of this works. But the interest and the start was definitely there. As I say, I've got the bare minimum. This is like the starter kit. You've got a spray gun, but obviously you need a gas canister or air compressor. You need loads of stuff. But that was there. You guys had never seen that. And as I say, I wouldn't have found all of this again if I emptied all the cupboards. So that could be exciting for the future. My golf clubs, ladies and gentlemen, these have actually seen a golf course. I didn't film it for obvious reasons, as well, it was just an absolute shocker. Mind you, actually, last 4 or 5 holes, I actually played quite well. But obviously not playing for 4 months, it was a bit rusty. This is the bag. We still need a 5-wood. I don't actually think I've got a single 5-wood in all of this. Hang on a minute. Yeah, there we go. Boom, whack that in the bag. But I don't think I've actually got a decent 5-wood in the whole of this. I haven't found one. It's not really something that I'm majorly concerned about. If I've got a long par 5, it's going to be driver. If I've got a small par 4, it's going to be driving iron. So 5-wood's kind of going to be there for aesthetic reasons only. I'm just not confident enough. As I say, I need to work on my game this year, depending on where we go and play. But there's the bag. It's still there. It has seen the light of day. As you can see, these T20 wedges have gone very rusty though over time. That is their finish. It is a raw finish, so they're designed to obviously do that. They were really lovely. The bounce on them, however, the 50 degree was quite low for someone that hasn't actually hit a wedge shot in 4 to 5 months, especially how wet the course was. It wasn't that wet, but it was wet enough for me to definitely go underneath the ball. Overall, there's the bag at the moment, and obviously I'll update you as soon as the 5-wood gets in there. Golf bags like these have been a bane of my life, mainly because of the amount of space they take up. But now I need a lot more of them, so I'll be on the hunt for some decent tour bags. As you can see, where's the Miura bag? Miura bag at the back there. That's been my staple golf storage unit. That was a video 8 months ago when I bought all those Miura irons. So that was basically keeping hold of majority of all my golf clubs. They're probably the ones that I've probably held on to the longest. As you can see, I actually bought this off Richard. Richard watches the channel, so thank you, Richard. Again, it's full set, AP2 716 irons, 917 driver, putter, wedges, the lot. So that's something that obviously I'll have to start listing in the future. But overall, I definitely need more of these bags. As I say, once I finally have my studio, we're going to have rackings, we're going to have shelves, there's going to be irons on the sides here, but there's going to be tons of bags as well, which basically have woods in drivers, stuff that you can basically hit and then take home. I guess that's there's downsides to second-hand club fitting by all means. I'm not saying second-hand club fitting is going to be anywhere near as advanced and accurate as a real club fit. But the bonuses are, especially if you're just starting the game, you get to try loads of different models, price ranges, you name it, and then you get to take that club home. Like, not many people talk about tolerances in this game. The shaft, the head that you tested in the simulator of that Maverick or Epic Speed, whatever it is, potentially won't be the same as the one that you order. There are tolerances, and that stiff might be a bit stiffer or might be a bit more flexible. The head might not necessarily be the same as the one that you were testing. So if you bought a club fitted driver and all of a sudden the one that you bought is nowhere near as good as the one you demoed, that's probably the reason why, even though we are still talking about very small small parts here. I mean, again, lessons, the rest of it, that's going to affect your game more. Moving on, we have got shafts. Lots of shafts. Not only have I got wood shafts, I've actually got a load of pullouts as well. So I've got tons of iron shafts in here. Again, some of you guys messaged me, Simon, I need a shaft for this, or I need a driver shaft for this club, wood shaft to lower my spin, higher my launch, what have you got? It doesn't really work like that. It's almost impossible, and I think any decent club fitter would say, unless I see your swing and then you test it with that specific head, just because it's got S on it, just because it's got low torque, high torque, bend point, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to then fit that particular club. They all act completely different. Yes, some of them are going to be more likely to produce lower spin, but I'd never sell someone going, this shaft will do exactly this, unless I've seen your swing, unless I know the club that you're putting into. So that's why I'm reluctant to ever sell someone just a shaft on my recommendation. These are purely for repairs, or if I just get heads. I mean, these, I've had quite a few of these for a while, but because the price I paid for all of them, I mean, they average from about 10 to 15 pounds each. As soon as I find a head, again, I've got multiple choices I can then choose from, and then obviously put them in there. And then when I do have the fitting center, these are going to be all on the rack. We're going to have Ping, Cobra, Callaway, Titleist, Srixon, Mizuno, TaylorMade, you name it, and there's going to be walls and walls of shafts. Old shafts, new shafts, adapters that will work, adapters that need to come out, you name it, and then you get to try not only this year's shafts, but last year's and the years before, and shafts that are 15 years old. But guess what? If they do the job and they look somewhat sexual on your club, then they will be going in. So that's the kind of idea. I'm kind of stockpiling these, not really in too much rush to obviously get rid of them, but we've got, yeah, well, we've got tons of them. And then we just have odd clubs here and there. Some of them, like for example, my long drive drivers, again, need to find a place to practice. Can't really use them at any decent driving range because they'll just fly out the back. This one's actually cracked from the crown, so again, that's useless. I need to get that taken off and just potentially just use that shaft on another head. Drivers and woods potentially just sell very quickly. That's why you don't really see me ever have too many drivers and woods. There's so much demand for woods at the moment because so many people are playing the game, and potentially if you haven't played the game for the last 15-20 years and you're getting back into it, drivers have changed a lot, and I'll be very excited to see where drivers are in 20 years time. Have they got any better? Do the R&A change the rules and regulations of what drivers can or can't do? Will they have more technology in the grip, like the Cobras for example? It's going to be very interesting to see where they are. But yes, drivers have changed on the most part for the better. And again, if you bought a driver in the last 5 to 6 years, you're pretty much there with technology. As I say, like M2 drivers, real big fan of. Ping G series, real big fan of. Those are the ones where you're going to get just as much value for your money against the performance side of it. Now, looking at all of this at first glance, I don't think I'm going to have any time today. I might have to come back this evening. The good thing about the storage unit is it opens very early in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. I can get very much access to it at any given time. Therefore, it opens up more time for me to not only make videos, but obviously to work in the day, give lessons, everything else. Whereas this has all been in my bedroom, and obviously if Axel's asleep at 7, then the last thing I want to do is go and wake the poor man up. It's very exciting though. As I say, this definitely seems like a turning point on the progression of wear and the goal that I want to actually achieve. Seeing it all in the flesh. Now it doesn't actually look, I mean, this room, like, I've got a lot of space to fill this up. I'm gonna get a loft and line machine, I'm gonna get a bench, just make this a tiny bit more organized, get it a lot more professional, and then give me some better ideas of what I will need for the future to obviously get this all up and running. But as I say, going from the Vega heads in the corner there to what we have now, to what I've learned as well. I've learned so much in terms of second-hand clubs. What to look out for, what not to look out for, what works well, what over the years has just standed the test of time versus everything else. And when you look at it over 20-25 years, there's been some absolute stunners of golf clubs that have actually come out, and there's some years, that 3 years, where manufacturers really haven't done anything. Like, they haven't produced anything good, but they just keep on churning out the same stuff, and then that 1 year they'll come out with something that just looks exceptional and performs very well, not only for professionals but for amateurs. Like, this is what the clubs are designed for. I know professionals are going to make anything work, but what clubs actually work for you, me, and the guy next door? So guys, there you have it. This is the last time you're going to see Castaway looking Tom Hanks Simon here. Haircut, beard trimmed. We're going to actually look like a golf professional once again, and get some footage, everything else, plans in motion, so that I can start producing a lot more content for you guys. As let's be honest, YouTube is definitely my main passion in all of this. I'm just fortunate that the golf coaching, second-hand club sales, not necessarily the delivery driving, but they all kind of merge into one to not only provide for my family, but actually fulfill my passion, which is, well, just all of the above. Gotta stop playing with my hat. Look at that mess. That is just, that's outrageous. Guys, if you like this video, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new. Catch you guys later.